Howdy SMITE fans, it's JMac. Week 1 of Phase 3 is in the books. If you missed out on any of the action, don't worry, I've got you covered in this week's SPL recap. We kicked off our weekend with the Jade Dragons versus the Valhalla Valkyries. It may be a brand new phase, but the results are all the same. The Jade Dragons take no time in picking the Valhalla Valkyries apart and bringing a swift 2-0 under their belt. The Oni Warriors and the Olympus Bolts face off in our second set of the day. The Oni Warriors are able to strike early against the Olympus Bolts. With no answer back, the Warriors are able to claim game number 1. In game number 2, I think the Warriors may have forgotten, just like us, just how hard I'm a Monster hits. Benedo able to get some big plays for his team and lead them to a game 2 victory. And game number 3 is a nail-biter of a game. Back and forth action between the Bolts and the Warriors, but ultimately, it's the Olympus Bolts who come out on top, taking the set 2-1. Saturday's first match featured the Camelot Kings taking on the Atlantis Leviathans. The Kings, they put a very heavy emphasis on drafting hell for their picks and bans. The Leviathans were more focused on finding an answer to it, and boy did they. After 2 long-winded matchups, the Atlantis Leviathans are the ones who come out on top with a 2-0 victory to start the day. The Tartarus Titans and the Oni Warriors duke it out for our second set of the day. The Tartarus Titans, hot off their Phase 2 championship, show no signs of slowing down. They're able to pick apart the Oni Warriors quickly and efficiently. And Game 1 and 2 was a dominant showcase of the Titans' might. A 2-0 for them to close out the day. Closing out the weekend, we have the Valhalla Valkyries taking on the Atlantis Leviathans. The Valkyries, they're able to show some early prowess, even pushing the Leviathans back. But ultimately, when the endgame rears its head around the corner, the Valkyries crumble. The Leviathans take not just game 1, but a swift game 2 in order to take the set. But if you missed any games this weekend, well, this is probably the set that you want to go back and watch. Our second set was the Tartarus Titans versus the Solar Scarabs here in studio. Game 1's back and forth insanity leads to a Titans victory, with leads passing between the teams all the way up until the very end of the game. And in game number 2, it starts off in similar fashion. But this time it's the Solar Scarabs who make a big turnaround at the Gold Fury with the help of Solar Troll, tying the set 1-1. And in game number 3, it was shaping up to be a Scarabs win. But then Paul turned around the corner, and with a big fight around the Fire Giant, he spins the game in favor for the Tartarus Titans, taking the set 2-1 and closing our weekend. And with that, week number 1 is all wrapped up. The Atlantis Leviathans and the Tartarus Titans sit at the top of the standings, but there's plenty more SPL action to go around. Join us on Friday when we kick off week number 2. As for me, that's all for this week's SPL recap.